I'm going to cut off with Queen 8 suited. There was one limper in front of me. I decided to raise to 15. Both blinds called plus the limper. So we're going 4 ways to this flop with $60 in the center. Flop comes out pretty good for my hand. It's King 5 deuce with 2 diamonds. It definitely hits my range. And the small blind just leads right out into me for $20. Kind of an odd thing for someone to do. It usually indicates they have some sort of weak king or possibly a flush draw. Anyway, I just decided to call after another person calls, and we see a turn card of a 5 of hearts. Same player decides to lead out again, this time for $35. And the way he put the chips in, it just made me feel like he had a flush draw that contained a 5 of diamonds. The other player thinks for a bit and then folds. Here, I don't have to worry about him filling up when a flush card comes, and unless he has ace 5 of diamonds, I'm in pretty good shape. River card comes is a 2 of spades, so we brick out, and he has a full house now, I guess. He puts out a sizing for $60, trying to get value out of someone with a king, and of course I don't have a king, so it's an easy fold. I kind of talked to him a bit and said that he probably has something like ace 5 of diamonds, and I ended up folding the hand after pretending to tank for a while. And he did end up showing that he did have the 5 of diamonds in his hand. The player to my left decided to put on a $22 straddle. It's folded around to me. I have king 10. This is definitely good enough to put in a raise against a blind. So I make it $60. He puts in the call. So we're going heads up to a flop with 121 in. And it comes out king high with 2 diamonds. Pretty good flop for me. I got top pair, backdoor flush draw, and some weird straight draws. I decided to bet again for $60. He calls rather quickly. I don't think he believes me that I'm too strong. He thinks I'm probably just trying to steal his money, which sometimes I am. Turn card comes as a king of clubs. Kind of really solidifies my hand. I'm not going to back off, though. If he doesn't believe me, I'm going to make him pay $80 this time. My opponent, after thinking for a bit, finds the fold, and it was a good laydown since I did have the goods this time. I'm in the big blind with Queen Jack. There was a limp, a raise to 20, and 2 players call for the 20. I put in the call also, and so does the other limper. So we're going 4 ways to a flop with 81 in. Flop comes Jack high with a 6 of hearts and a deuce of clubs. So I got top pair, so-so kicker, and a backdoor flush draw. It quickly gets checked around. Turn card is good and bad. It's good that it's a club. It's bad that it's a king. I decided to lead for $30 this time. I was a little bit fearful that if I checked it, someone might put in a very large bet, one that I might not be able to call with a pair and a flush draw. So this is kind of like a blocker bet. I do get called in 2 spots, and we get the 7 of clubs on the river. The initial raiser peeks back at their hand. I think they have a hand like ace-king, and I don't think they're going to be able to fold it. So I make a bet for $110. They think for a while before putting in the call. The other player folds out. I show my queen-jack, and we take this one down. The other player did have ace-king with the ace of clubs. There's one player that limps in front of me. I look down at 2 9s from the hijack, put in a raise to 15. I get a call from the small blind, big blind, and the original limper. So we're going 4 ways to this flop with $60 in the pot. Flop comes out pretty good for my hand, not really great for my range. It comes 8, 7, 5 rainbow. Everyone checks to me, and I got an overpair, I got a gutter to a straight, and I'm very fearful of overcards. So I bet $40. I end up getting 2 callers. The big blind was the only player that ended up folding, so we're going to go 3 ways to this turn. I think the only safe cards for me is like a 2, a 3, or a 6. Turn card comes as a 7 of diamonds. Connects a lot with that board. Anyone with a 7 has me beat. It also puts up a flush draw. All 3 players checked me, and now I have to make a decision. And I decided to bet $100. I figure if someone has a 7, I'm going to find out about it. And if no one has a 7, this should really put pressure on those, like maybe pair of 8s with an overcard. Maybe someone's sitting there with 9-10 or Jack-10. I don't want someone to be drawing to a gut shot and catch their one overcard when their straight will be no good. Now to the small blind. Takes forever. Looked like they were going to put in a raise, and then they looked like they were going to almost fold. And oh well, they decided on a call. Well, after he puts in the call, the other players decide that they're not interested in the hand anymore, and they end up folding out. Well, we get a beautiful river card of a 9 of hearts. Yes, we just made a full house, and not only that, this 9 also completes the obvious straight draw that anyone with a 6 would have. And if they happen to be playing something like Jack-10 with a gut shot and 2 overcards, they just made a straight also. So he looks like he's interested in betting, and I figure he has a little bit less than a pot-sized bet left. So I figured it was all going to go in there, but he ends up betting $150. Kind of an odd sizing, makes me feel like he is maybe not as strong as I hoped, or that he was trying to get a crying call from me. Anyway, I only have one move here, and that's just to shove it all in and hope for the best. I think just about anything he has that was worth firing on the end except a stone cold bluff is probably worth a call. But he finds the fold. I guess good for him. He saved himself a little money. But very interesting hand. For the final hand of this session, I am in the blind again, this time with Ace-Jack. There was a couple limpers. Ace-Jack suited, definitely worth a raise. I put in $20 more. Both players end up putting in the call. So we're going to go to a flop with $70 in the pot. And the flop is a little bit outrageous because it comes out ace, ace, 7 with a 7 of spades. So not only do I have 3 aces, I also have a backdoor flush draw just in case. I checked and it gets checked around quick. 7 of clubs, yeah. I'm just going to check it. Maybe someone will take a stab at it. It gets checked around. River is a deuce of clubs. I pretend like maybe I'm doing this with something like a flush. I don't know. I bet out $40, hoping for some crying call. And I have one person who is a non-believer, puts in the quick call. I show the ace, and we win a pot. I don't know. So right to slow play that? Probably. A very tight player opens from middle position for $20. Normally this indicates they have something queens plus, ace king. Not too much else. I find myself on the button with ace king suited. Normally this is a slam dunk 3-bet, but against this particular player, I feel like if I ended up 3-betting, we're going to be shoving all in, and he might have aces and kings. So I played it a little passively and just put in a call for the $20. This entices the big blind to come in, and the 3 of us see a flop that comes king high with 2 clubs. Pretty good flop for my hand. Big blind end up checking, middle position bets for 35. Basically a standard continuation bet. I'm just going to put in the call here. The big blind's getting a good price, so he puts in the call also. I'm a little bit worried I should have played this faster because I don't want that big blind to catch something. Turn is a 5 of diamonds. Relatively good card for my hand. Doesn't connect any flushes or straights, but does pair the bottom. Both players end up checking. I figure out to bet my own hand finally, so I make it $80. Big blind thinks for a moment and then folds. The middle position player shows his neighbors his cards like he had pocket queens and kind of mumbles something and then folds. Well, this is definitely the hand of the day. I have ace-jack offsuit in the +1 position. There's a limper from under the gun. I raised to 15. Player in the low jack now puts in the call for the 15. Big blind calls, and so does the under the gun player. We go 4 ways to a flop, which comes out ace-jack-10. There are 2 hearts, so there's a possible flush draw, but this is excellent flop for my particular hand. I got top 2 pair. I got the betting lead. I need to protect my hand. I'm going to be firing all the way through there to get value from weaker hands. But I noticed something, and It's not visible from the camera or anything like that, but I picked up a tell on the player in the low jack. And my tell is that he flopped the nuts. Now, I don't know whether that means king, queen of hearts, king, queen offsuit. I don't know. But I got to tell that he flopped the nuts. It's just like the hand a few weeks ago where I flopped top set and I felt the person flop the nuts there. I never saw their hand, but I'm sure they had ace jack on that particular hand and I was beat. I've seen this tell probably 3 or 4 times in the last year or so on different players, and it always means they flop the nuts. I can't really describe it. I can't really put it into words what exactly it is, but just so you know, it exists, and therefore you're going to see the play of this hand look a little strange. The first 2 players end up checking, and here I decide to check. I expect the player in low jack to make a small bet to keep everyone in. He ends up betting very small for $18. Player in the big blind folds. The first limper calls, and here normally this would be a check raise. If I thought I was good, I put in the call. Turn card comes as a 7 of clubs, puts up another flush draw. First player ends up checking. I check it. I expect him to make a bet, probably between $80 and $90. Here, he decides to bet $75. Okay, the tell I was looking at was still present. I'm just trying to figure out whether I'll get the proper odds if this other player puts in the call to take one off, and I don't think I would. And then that player to my right jams all in for $218. At this point, I'm 95% sure I'm going to end up folding this hand. But to get the other 5% surety, I decided to ask for a count. And what this does is make the dealer break down his stack and count it out. And I'm just watching the player in the low jack. I don't care about the count too much. I just want to see his reaction. So if you made a bet on the turn and get check raised all in and someone asks for a count, you might be real kind of nervous that you don't have the best hand unless you flop the nuts. So I was watching him. He was not nervous at all. It was obvious that he had the goods. So after getting a count, I postured for a bit and then ended up mucking my hand. The low jack put in a snap call, asked the player if he wanted to run it once or twice. The player said he only wants to run it once. So the dealer put up a river card of a queen of diamonds. Player in the under the gun had ace queen of clubs, picked up a flush draw, made 2 pair. The low jack turned over king queen suited for a nut straight on the flop. So dodged some bullets there with my good read. There's a $6 straddle this hand. The player opens for 16. I call from the small blind with 10-8 suited. Rather questionable call, but I'm up against the player who just lost with ace queen of clubs. He might be a little bit steamed. Flop comes out queen, queen, 9 with 2 clubs and a heart. Not the greatest flop in the world. I check it. He continues for $16. I kind of have a little bit of a read that I want to make sure it's correct, so I think I'm going to be calling this. I put in for the 16, hoping to catch a gut shot or a backdoor flush draw. Turn card comes as a good one. It's the 7 of hearts. I check again, and my opponent decides to bet this time for $35. Now, normally I would just go for like a check raise here because I picked up so much equity and I think he's like BSing me. But he might be tilted enough to call down with any kind of draw. Like if he had a hand like Jack 10, he might actually call me down. I don't know. I decided just to put in the call, try to realize my odds, and sure enough, I brick out with the 7 of diamonds. I check it again. This time he bets for $60. I'm pretty sure he's total BSing here. So I decided, hey, I don't really think he has anything, but he can probably beat 10 high. Let's go ahead and put in a check raise. So I jam. He has about, I don't know, $200 behind. He thinks for a while and then just dumps the hand. So Probably not the greatest line in the world. Probably should have checked raise the turn, and if not, I should just lead on the river with that 7. Well, this one's pretty self-explanatory. I got 2 kings under the gun. I opened for a raise to 15. End up getting 5 players putting on the call. Not what you want to see. I really don't like raising bigger than my standard open because it kind of gives away the strength of my hand. Anyway, we see a flop which comes down pretty good. King, queen, 8. There are some possible draws out there. Straight draws, gut shots. I decided to bet $40. See if anyone has any of those, and they all seem to have missed. They fold one by one, and I win a small pot. You know, just because you flop a big hand doesn't mean you need to suck them in, because sometimes you suck them in, they're going to spit you right out. Anyway, we win the small one. Well, we're up a little. It's about 2 hours into our session. We pick up ace-jack suited in the hijack. There was a limper in front of us, make it 15, end up getting 4 callers for the 15. So we're going 5 ways to this flop, which comes out queen, jack, 4, rainbow. We do have 1 spade on board, and it's the queen of spades. It gets checked to me. Now, with 4 opponents, I don't think it's smart to bet second pair with an ace kicker. I think it's just smarter just to check this back, see what comes on the turn, because someone's going to have you beat. It gets checked around. Turn card comes is a king of spades. Kind of interesting. I now pick up a royal flush draw. And against 1 or 2 opponents, I would go ahead and fire this because it hits my range. And I got plenty of outs. But I decided to check this because there's a $500 bonus for a royal flush. And I'm pretty sure I'm not ahead at this time. River card comes as a 10 of diamonds. Well, 10 of diamonds is better than most other cards. It's not the 10 of spades. I call, everyone else folds. Player shows ace queen. He was trapping on the flop. I showed my ace jack. Someone said they had a king. Our final hand of the day, I'm in the +1 position with 2 nines, open for a raise to 15. I get 1 caller from a player I would say would be classified as a newer player. Flop comes out 4-4 deuce with 2 diamonds. So I'm going to continue here, see if he wants to play for $20. He does make the call for the 20 after peeking at his cards. I think he might have a diamond in it, maybe the ace of diamonds. Turn card comes is a jack of diamonds. So not the greatest card, makes the flush. But I decided to go ahead and bet this again. I think he only had 1 diamond by the way he looked at his cards. I know that's kind of weird, but that's what I think. River card comes is a 9 of clubs. We make a full house. He either missed or he's going to have something he can calm me down with. I think he has a missed hand, but I jam trying to get the rest of his chips if he happened to have something like a jack with a flush draw. Anyway, he quickly mucks it, and we win the last hand of the day. Hey guys, a little Zeus intermission here. We decided to put Zeus to the test. My wife saw something on the internet showing that a dog will go to the person they care for the most when they're on the ground, unconscious. So my wife was thinking that she would probably win this because lately she's been taking care of Zeus, giving him back rubs and belly rubs and feeding him and giving him treats. And I thought that I would still win. So we decided to put it to the test. And I gave my wife a little handicap. I had her lay closest to where Zeus would be coming from, so Zeus would have to see her first. Anyway, here it is. Well, Zeus wanders in, takes a quick peek, and heads right over to me. As you can see, he's not very worried by the way he's shaking his tail. He thinks it's probably playtime. Thanks for watching. Really do appreciate your support. Day 1, we had a $675 win. Day 2, we won $305, and we got to dodge a big bullet with that ace-jack against the king-queen. Anyway, I do appreciate your support. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, please do so. If not doing it for me, do it for Zeus. He is so adorable. Anyway, until next time, we'll see you back here soon. Until then, good luck at the tables.